You just want to share the Twitter when we go live as well, just your account.
Yes, I will. I will do that. Okay. I believe we are live. It's rumored that we are live right now on
That's the rumor.
episode 21, I believe, of the Movie Buffs, which is pretty crazy. I think I say this after like when we intro like every episode. It's like, wow, we actually like did another one. How have we
Yeah,
done this? How have we managed to have like two separate occasions where we've both gone, okay, let's do a show on this day, and then we actually do it. You know, it's pretty crazy.
yeah. It's like we're supposed to have a show today, and then I'm just lying in bed till 4. Like fuck lockdown.
I
But
mean, it
yeah, it's
messes
good.
with you. It messes with your whole timing. You know, I'm
Yeah,
now that we're like moving like a degree out of lockdown, at least here in England. Like it's things are starting to like click a little bit. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got this happening every week now. I've got some semblance of regularity coming back. But like, aside from that, it's fucking awful.
yeah, and yeah, it is hard to get like in a routine, and then you have routines all over the place, and then you just wanna we're supposed to do a show, and then things life gets in the way, and then you're just
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's the thing. We didn't do one last week, because we were both busy. I think
yeah,
on Sunday, and then we pushed it forward to this week, and then we're like, can we do Monday? Because Sunday we were both busy. Then last night we're like, oh no, we need to push forward to Tuesday. So
yeah.
and then we just it gets to the point where I don't know when you're doing like a new project, you always kind of feel concerned that at some point it's just gonna like die and it's gonna lose all its momentum, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh well, we had a good run, and then it's one of those things where it's like kind of talking to someone where like after a while you just kind of stop. Nobody says like, oh, we've stopped talking or this has stopped.
Yeah,
It just stops. So
stops.
like with the last few days, I'm kind of like, ah, shit. Is this it? Is this the end? So thankfully, no.
Yeah,
Today we're
no,
back and we're not going
like
anywhere because this shit's fun.
yeah, I know we enjoy doing it. Like it's just a bit of fun to sit around and talk about movies, and
Yeah.
if people want to join us, they join us. If they don't join us, they don't join us. But we're just having some fun, and it's just
And
even if
to let
so,
people know how serious we are about production value, you have some new headphones, which is, I
I
mean, this is crazy, guys. This is unprecedented production value here.
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna fly a plane, but hopefully my sound is coming through okay. But I
Yeah,
just
you're
feel
great.
cool. I just feel cool. I should definitely. I think if we had like a big guest on, like a celebrity, I think they would just be memorized by my headphones. They
They
wouldn't have
would.
to answer any
I'm
questions.
struggling to pay attention right now. I'm
Yeah,
just staring at them. I'm like, wow, that's
yeah,
that's quite insane. At some point,
yeah.
it's just gonna be like another episode where like every episode you're gonna get more and more technical, right? And it'll be
Oh
like
yeah,
you're gonna be like in this huge office with like servers behind you and all of this crazy shit going on just because you take this shit seriously, man.
yeah. I have like this is episode 21. By episode like 41, I'll have like I'll be coming into my podcast in a flying car. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
progressive this is getting. So
Well, I mean, it's crazy. You go back
exciting.
to like when we started, and it's like audio problems every episode. No idea what the hell we're doing. I mean, we still don't have any idea what we're doing. Let's be real.
Yeah,
But some people like listening to what we have to say.
yeah.
But
And if
regardless,
you're
oh, go on.
and if you're one of the if you're one of the people that watch and listen to us, then thank you. Even if it's just 5 people, we just enjoy doing it. It's just something fun for us to be doing.
Yeah, no, that's the essence of this. Is like every time I'm like, you know what? It's just nice to have like a regular outlet for all this shit because we were talking just before we went live about how kind of bad at times certain platforms are. Like Twitter is obviously the hub of where we are usually, but half the time it's
Yeah,
just awful. You just really don't want to be there because everyone's just
yeah,
yelling at each other. Everyone just like quote tweeting everybody else and just saying horrible shit to them. Everyone arguing all the
yeah,
time. I know I do it. I, I argue with a lot of people, but it's just like
yeah,
to do something like this where it's just you rarely have anyone coming on here giving us shit. Apart from that time, remember like one of the first few episodes where we just started getting bombed by people who hated you. Just like two or
yeah.
three episodes
My,
in a row where we're just getting so much shit from people.
my trolls. Yeah,
They
yeah.
found you. They found you quickly.
They
But I
did.
mean, yeah, luckily that's not the case anymore. But it's nice.
Yeah,
There's a lot of engagement that we get on here, and it's just it's chill, it's relaxed, and we have a lot to talk about, especially today. We've got a lot
yeah,
to talk about. So,
yeah. And the thing about social media is like you're on Facebook, you have your friends. Like if you make a post on Facebook, you don't see some random guy called I don't know whatever coming into your comments like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just basically your friends, that come into the comments. And
Well, I don't know about
Instagram,
you, but my friends usually reply to my stuff saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they
yeah,
give me grief.
yeah. But even on Instagram, you just post a picture. You don't have to look at the comments. You
Yeah.
don't have to look at them. You just post a picture or whatever. Just chill on Instagram. But yeah, Twitter's a little bit more aggressive. But
Twitter is like the most aggressive social media site I've ever seen. It's just so people are just like, I have to give somebody grief today, and I'm gonna do it. And as you say, it's so easy just to get into people's posts, and I mean, that's a different debate altogether. The one thing that we're united in is how nice it is to be here. So
yeah.
So I think with that, we'll get the ball rolling. Got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, having not been here last week. So I know that there was a big sadness in the world when we were not live last week, but we're here to remedy that by smashing through about 400 topics today.
Some say there's people in England protesting because we didn't do a show last week. They're outside. I don't know why, but they're all outside football grounds. Weird place to protest.
I think we probably mentioned like football in one episode, and they were like, "Well, you know what? I'm just gonna go and hate on them." They also misread the movie buffs as European Super League. I don't know how the hell they did that, but they are really angry. So,
we should actually. This is bad, but we should put the hashtags in the description. Super League, the Super League hashtag Super League.
Hashtag UEFA, hashtag FIFA, hashtag Premier League, all of this stuff. We've got to capitalize on the anger.
Jump on it.
We can turn it into the football buffs. We can have a spin-off show with just us doing the exact same thing but with football. But so I think the thing that happened the longest time ago since our last episode was Army of the Dead getting its, I guess, first like proper official trailer. So what did you think? How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, so I signed up. I got to see it early before everyone else. I got to go to the Q&A with Zack Snyder as well. Dave Bautista was there, so that was pretty cool. And so I think at the start it was Zack talking about the movie, and then Dave Bautista came in then, and they were talking about it, and then some of the cast members just came in with a quick hello video and stuff like that. And then they played the trailer, and the trailer was actually pretty. I don't know. I found it emotional in a way because it's a brand new Zack Snyder movie that's not DC related, and it looks so badass, it looked cool. And then the Kenny Rogers Gambler kicks in, just a perfect choice for the music. I got a little bit emotional. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like a new movie, and it's nothing to do with the Snyder Cut. And yeah, I just thought I've been saying that Zack Snyder is going to redefine the zombie genre. I think he will. He did it back in 2004 with the fast-paced zombies. Now he's doing something even more insane. And this looks insane. It's going to be big. I think it trended like the whole day and stuff like that as well. So
yes,
and when it's such a diverse cast all over the world on Netflix, you can get Netflix anywhere. You can get Netflix in Antarctica. It's going to be a big hit, this movie, and the action. It's the first film that's acted digitally as well. He shot digitally. This should be interesting. And it looks insane.
It's I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of kind of heart to the trailer. I think I don't know if that's the right way of phrasing it, but there was just the tone was there's no real way to describe it. It makes me sound like an idiot, but it was just badass, right? And it just felt like there was heart to these characters, and I think the best thing, one of the things I'm most looking forward to is kind of the world building around it, right? How at the beginning of the trailer, you got Dave Bautista working in the restaurant, whatever, and you can just hear them over the radio talking about how Las Vegas has been walled off. And it's like people just accept that in this world. People are just like, yeah, Vegas is gone. All right, move on.
Yeah.
So the implications of that for the rest of the world, we know they've got like prequel stories, so whether there's going to be any kind of allude to other stories, is there any other part of the world that's affected, the origins of the zombies, the links to Area 51, you just know it's insane. And I mean, I watched the trailer, I probably watched the trailer like 10 times that day. I just kept going back to it. I'd be doing a bit of work and then I go, I just got to see that again.
Yeah,
that was a really, really good trailer. But yeah, I mean, it's what comes out next month in about a month's time.
May 21st, I think.
So not a whole long to go, and obviously there's a whole big drama at the moment about where Zack lies when it comes to different production companies or movie studios. And from what we've heard, Netflix have obviously given him a much, much easier time than Warner Bros. Had, saying, Zack pitching it, he met with like a senior exec at Netflix and he was like, oh, I've got this idea for a movie. The guy's like, okay, write the script and we'll shoot it next week. Like they just say, okay, we know your name has draw, we know your name has influence, we know you can make a good movie. We're just going to give you a shitload of money, go do it. And it's a very different environment at Warner Bros. Where fans are basically having to beg for movies and beg for TV shows. Like, hey guys, do you want to do, Zack Snyder had the idea to do an Atom movie in China 3 years ago, and then Shang-Chi's coming out with the trailer and everyone loves it. And I was like, oh, Warner Bros., if only you had something that could compete with this. I don't know, maybe somebody had an idea for that several years ago. But, hey, do you see this as being like just the beginning of Zack's relationship with Netflix and just maybe kind of staying over there, even though he's open to Snyderverse stuff?
Yeah, and just to give RCB a shout in the chat, he goes, hyped for Army of the Dead, new Snyder movie in my birth month. That's pretty cool of you, man.
That's a good present.
And, yeah, it's cool. But I just think like Justice Con, just looking at Justice League was on Saturday, and then Army of the Dead was all day Sunday. So it would be showing that Zack's moving on to a degree. And I'm sure if Warner Brothers came in and said, we want you to do more, it had to be demands there, of course, to get freedom and stuff like that. But I think the money at Netflix, the freedom at Netflix, the exposure that Netflix gives a product, why not just do that? Like I said, after I watched that, I don't know if you catched that trailer for, I'm going blank in the name now, Jupiter's Legacy, that new superhero one that's coming out.
Yep.
It kind of looks a bit like The Boys as well. Like, why not just say to Zack, Netflix, say, okay, Zack, create us a superhero world with original superheroes. You pick them.
Do you think he could just do his Justice League trilogy, but with a bunch of different characters? Like the exact same, like, yeah, this is not Batman, and look, he's gonna, do this, and this is not Superman. Yeah. There's nothing stopping him. Warner Bros. Don't have the rights to his non-story that's, just mythically out there in the ether that supposedly doesn't exist. Like, I'm sure he could be cheeky about it.
Yeah, I think that could be a good way going forward. Make his own superhero world over at Netflix and create his own superheroes. Why not? It's Zack Snyder. I'm sure he could create some pretty badass superheroes. Yeah. And like he takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of comic book writers, bring them in as producers. Come on, I think there's something pretty cool there. But yeah, I think Army of the Dead will be the first of a franchise of movies, live action movies. Because I love the zombie genre anyway, so I'm excited that my favorite director's doing it. And there's also the prequel coming as well with the Safecracker. I think it's originating in Germany. I think it's going to travel to France and stuff like that all over Europe. So that's cool. And then the series as well, the animated series. So that won't be the end of it. If they greenlit two projects of Army of the Dead without they've obviously seen Army of the Dead, but without seeing how it was going to perform, then they're pretty in the Zack Snyder game. And if Zack Snyder can attract big stars like Dave Bautista, if he can attract Joe Manganiello to come in for the animated stuff as well, he has big connections all around Hollywood. Actors, everyone loves him. I think he would build something pretty badass over at Netflix. If it's a zombie first, whatever, I'd be cool. I'd be down for that. Zombie World by Zack Snyder, him being the spearhead of it, bring other directors in for different movies, go ahead. Or if Zack was able to create his own superhero world with new original superheroes, because look at what The Boys has done, Amazon's Invincible as well, just complete hard or superheroes. But let's see some that have never been seen before by Zack Snyder. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and just thinking about it, like I would absolutely kill for an episode of The Boys to be directed by Zack. Like, it's such a good show. If not just to like, I don't know, maybe get those people to shut up who are just always talking about how Homelander is basically Zack Snyder's Superman. You're like, you do not understand know anything about Henry's interpretation of Superman if you think that Homelander is what Zack is trying to make him. But yeah, I that's just like a perfect intersection, right? Zack Snyder directing an episode of The Boys. But I'm also very hyped for that to come out. But we're not talking about The Boys today, as much as I would love to. I think you're right though. I think it's no matter how attached Zack is to these characters and to the DC universe and whatnot, there is a very powerful sentiment, at least within the fan base, to, you know, just encourage Zack to go work with Netflix, who actually like give a shit about you, you know, who, or maybe it's not even that Netflix give a shit about him. It's just that they don't treat him like shit, you know, and they don't treat their directors like shit. They don't treat their fans like shit as well, who have to beg for all these projects, who have to say, please give us this movie and I will give you the money to watch it, you know. So yeah, I mean, as much as I'd absolutely love to see the Justice League sequels that he has in mind, I would much rather watch, you know, zombie first stuff, Zack's doing his own other projects, like I know he's got like the King Arthur project, potentially, and other stuff, you know, just so long as knowing that he was actually just working for a studio that's just like, hey, here's the money, do your thing. And yeah, maybe hopefully, you know, the Snyder Cut in general just gives people a better appreciation of just allowing directors to do their own thing. But who knows, maybe we're being idealistic. You know, just saying, oh, it'd be nice if a studio didn't treat people like shit.
Yeah, it's not us closing the lid on the Snyderverse. We want to see that as well. We want to see Justice League 2 and 3. And I still do think we will get some sort of expansion to the Snyderverse, whether it be a Deathstroke series, Jared Leto, something. I think something will happen. I don't know if it will be the expense of Justice League 2 and 3, but if you look at Amazon, who are
Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings series, I know a lot of it is the rights to buy Lord of the Rings, but still, I think on average they're doing 8 episodes for the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. Each episode is going to cost $30 million each. That's ridiculous. That's an extreme amount of money, considering Game of Thrones per episode is like $10 million. And I think The Walking Dead per episode is like $1 or $2 million or something like that. So like, that just shows you the levels of all these kind of high-profile shows. Like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones have arguably been the biggest franchises in TV over the last decade or so. And that shows you how much they're putting into it. And then you have Amazon putting $30 million per episode. Like, it's crazy. And I think, you know, HBO Max want to catch up to Netflix, to Amazon, to Disney Plus. And Disney Plus and Netflix aren't sparing any change either. So everyone's spending big money. So if you want to be up there at the dinner table with the big guys, you have to put money into it. You really do.
And that's the thing with the Snyder Cut. That kind of seemed like the first indication that Warner Max or whatever, you know, AT&T, Warner Media, that's the one, was serious about, you know, their streaming services, saying like, hey, you know, we've got a lot of stuff here, but the Snyder Cut is it's ours, you know, this is our big thing, this is our big flagship. And then what? Nothing. No communication, no reports on any streaming data, from, you know, official streaming data. Every single thing that's coming out after Zack Snyder's Justice League, we've gotten the numbers from, you know, documentaries and shows and all that. They're tweeting out, yeah, bunch of you watch this, bunch of you watch that. And every time it's like there's nothing to do with the Snyder Cut. And it's bizarre, but obviously we don't know everything that's going on. Maybe they're going to do a huge reveal at the end of the month and be like, whoa, this is crazy. We've given Zack $10 billion to do his sequels. But, you know, it's strange. It's strange. So I think you're right. It's you know, all of these streaming services need to really, you know, really coming up to the table with big bags of money. And they're saying, you know, we're not here to play around. We know streaming is the future. So, you know, we've got Lord of the Rings, we've got The Boys, you know, Netflix is like, we've got this, we've got that. Disney's got all the Marvel stuff and Star Wars things. Everybody has come out with this big thing that they're super serious about. And HBO Max is like, well, we had the Snyder Cut, guys. I know they've also got other shows like Flight Attendant and whatnot, but it's like, that shit's not really going to be giving you the big money that you're looking for. But
and right now there's a hope for theaters because Godzilla v Kong is doing pretty.
It's doing really well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think movies like that are coming out, the Marvel movies that are coming out in the next few months, Fast 9, I think those will help box office in the theaters. So how long will this HBO Max on the same day as theater release happen? You know, for like the Tom and Jerry's, the Wonder Womans, the Mortal Kombat. How long is that going to happen in a world where everyone's getting vaccinated now and everyone wants to go out and experience life again? So, like, what if you take away Matrix 4, if you take away all this HBO Max originals, what do HBO Max have left? Or the HBO Max movies that they've got? Like, how many originals do they have left that actually get you excited to subscribe? I can't really think of too many off the top of my head. I'd watch Flight Attendant and stuff, but there's nothing really else there, you know. And
that same day HBO Max release was their big money play, wasn't it? I think they maybe just think that this is going to tide them over for a year, and it may well do. But as you say, as soon as you get to the end of the year, what do you have left?
Yeah, yeah. And Netflix have everything because they're only on one platform. Amazon have everything that they've brought out because it's only on one platform. Disney Plus, like fair enough to Disney Plus, you're getting original shows, and might be corny and cheesy and family stuff, but you're also getting WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, The Mandalorian. So like, you're out of all the streaming services, in the best possible shape would be every one of them bar HBO Max. Maybe that's some awesome shows and movies lined up because we know Green Lantern Corps and all this stuff, but they're not even filming now. I don't even know if they have the scripts ready, so it's hard to get excited for something that
we
they
said this before.
about.
It's like you need to. It'll only be when you're sitting down and actually watching it do you actually believe that they've actually made a show and haven't just cancelled it because they just can't be bothered with it anymore.
So it will be interesting to see what state HBO Max is in when all those movies go back to theaters and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and there's no continuation of that story. What else do they have, and what do fans want, and what do subscribers want? Because a thing like Godzilla versus Kong, for the money it's made, Legendary aren't going to agree, or are the studio, the main Warner Brother guys who want the box office royalty money, are they going to agree to Godzilla v Kong 2, just to say, for example, to be on HBO Max again, considering the amount of money it's made now? I don't think so. You know what I mean? So it is interesting, but I think Zack Snyder is going to create his own Army of the Dead franchise. It's already happening. I think we're going to get sequels to it, more spin-offs, and I think there's more of a possibility of Zack Snyder creating his own original superhero world on Netflix, something like that. But let's not lose hope for the Snyderverse. But it's Warner Brothers. I'd rather put my money into Netflix now than HBO Max and Warner Brothers.
It's hard to see, like, after Army of the Dead comes out and you see whatever numbers it does, it's hard to see like Netflix staying quiet. It's hard to see Netflix not just going, I mean, they've already been loud, as you say, they've already said, do these prequels and do all this for us. But, they're very quick with sequel announcements. Like, there's Netflix had a show based on on Dota, the video game. And, it's an anime, and it came out, and within, 2 weeks after it coming out, they put out a tweet saying, yep, we're doing a second season. Like, they're just on it, quick. They go, okay, a lot of people want to watch this, we're going to do it. And there's nothing stopping them from doing that, because they're just like, we want to make money, So I have no doubt that within, a month of Army of the Dead coming out, or within several weeks, that if it does, as Netflix hope it does, they will be, at the very least promoting everything else and saying, oh, if you liked Army of the Dead, we've also got these other projects in the works, Just do anything to contrast what Warner Bros. Have done, Warner Media.
Yeah. It gets you hyped. After you see Army of the Dead, you're like, oh my god, this is pretty cool. You don't have too long to wait for another movie in this world. The Statecracker one, the Army of Thieves is called, and then you have an animated one as well for people who like animated stuff. I think it's going to be in anime form anyway. So that's all awesome. And then you hear that Army of the Dead 2 is coming. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Even if Zack doesn't direct it, you're still excited for the franchise. That he'll be the spearhead for it all. So yeah, it's like the Snyder Cut came out. We all know it did well because of the buzz online. It's hard not to keep. My grandma was talking about it. Everyone was talking about the Snyder Cut, and for them not to have a follow up of that, or even more excitement and engagement to say, okay, we don't know if we don't know if it's financially possible to do 2 and 3. That would be fair enough. So we're going to do Deathstroke movie for 30 million, and people are like, cool, that's a good compromise. Okay, cool. Maybe Ben Affleck might make a cameo, Commissioner Gordon, stuff like that. It's kind of world building within this world that we already love, and then we'll still be happy to watch the Flash movie, Katana, or all these kind of things, because we're getting everything, and you don't see any unbiased or anything like that. So, let's see how it goes. But Army of the Dead looks action packed, looks insane. The zombies look, and you know what's cool? I think there's going to be people that were in Las Vegas and say they were dressed up as Elvis Presley, but they were dressed up as a zombie Elvis Presley, and then they got bitten or whatever, and then now they're actually a zombie. That'd be funny. But did you read the set leaks today, or not set leaks? Jesus, the set visit reports today by some of the journalists?
No, I only saw those about half an hour before we went live. But no, I did see that quite a few journalists got invited to the set, but it was crazy. It was all the way back in the end of 2019, and I'm like, fuck, that's such a long time ago, man. But yeah, what did you see?
Well, I didn't read out everything about it because it was like Stephen Colbert, Screen Rant, on Twitter. He had a big report, so I'm going to read that now later. But there was a few other guys that had smaller ones, and just like I think the virus originated from Area 51, which we kind of knew about as well. These zombies are like something we've never seen before. and the ending is supposed to be insane, different things like that. So it just gets me even more excited for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
It does look pretty good. It does look pretty good. And I guess another thing that looks pretty good is whatever topic I've put at number 2. I can't remember what order I did these in. We have
controversial. You're like really happy about.
We have The Flash beginning filming yesterday.
I should say that we have sickness here as well. With the heaviest sickness, and RCB wanted to know random. But what are your thoughts on Netflix doing a live action The Last Airbender?
Jeez, I mean, I'm fairly sure that that's been going through like production hell at the moment, isn't it? It's like directors coming and going and all this. I think it's a good idea. It's got a huge following. You know, the animated series is, you know, really, really popular. I remember watching it years ago when I was a little one. I definitely think it's a good idea. It's always hard though, because it's like your rating of how good an idea it is always slightly fudged a bit when you look at production hell of things. Like Flash is a conveniently good example of how that movie's gone through, 5 different directors or whatever, and it's had so many different scripts, and then you're writing out characters because of studios, and it's like it kind of digs away at your enjoyment and your hype for a film. But no, I don't know. I don't think it's been enough to dissuade people, and I think general audiences will I think a part of the appeal for the show will be a lot of general audiences going like, oh, I think I remember this shit, when I was, from ages ago, and then so good idea. That's my answer in short.
Yeah, the original. I don't know if it's the original creators or the original writers or showrunners of the original animated show. They were involved, and then they left. So they're not involved with this now whatsoever. But then again, it's going to be from Netflix, going to be high budget, no expense spared. And also, I think that I never seen the M. Night Shyamalan one. It came out in 2009, I think it was. I think he gets a lot of shit, or maybe it was 2011. I think, was that based on that, The Last Airbender? He gets a lot of shit for that. There's been a terrible adaptation. I've heard people give out about it for years, but I never checked it out myself. Can't be that bad. Maybe it is. But,
I don't think I ever watched that. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It was. Yeah. IMDb 4 out of 10.
So, people always give it shit. Sickness goes, Mortal Kombat released a little teaser clip. Did you guys see it already? I haven't. I'll be right back. I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, I think they released the first 7 minutes. Like an hour or so ago. I mean, same happened with Wonder Woman 84. They released like the first 5 minutes of that. I did not watch it because I just want to wait until the movie. It's a good idea for getting people excited, though. I think it's a really smart idea because people are actually seeing the final product. But no, I'm never one for watching early clips. Yeah,
I'm not going to watch it either because the movie's only like 1 hour and 54 minutes or something anyway.
You've watched half of it already.
So yeah, I'm not going to pay for So I'll wait till the actual movie to see it in full context. So but I'm sure it's badass. I'm sure it's cool. Sickness, whenever you come back, that's why we're here. You guys to come here.
Tell us what to
talk
about.
This is what we're talking about, and then they go off and watch it and come back. RC B goes, don't watch the movie. It was so bad.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go.
Conclusively determined, we're not going to watch it. But so in terms of The Flash, obviously this is a movie that has been through utter hell in terms of production. As we said, numerous directors, numerous versions of the script, characters coming in, coming out. Are they for nostalgia? Are they for the actual story? How much does it link to Snyderverse stuff? Is it not related to the Snyderverse at all? It's a bit up in the air, but we're getting some certainty back. Michael Keaton confirmed to actually be in it now after he was supposedly concerned about coronavirus in England, which I for some reason never bought. I don't know why. The more cynical part of me thinks that he was just looking at all the chaos and just like, oh, fuck off. I'm not doing this shit. Because, I don't know, like, I think by the time that interview came out, our infection rates were going down very heavily. Vaccination progress was, like, fully underway. We were making really great strides with that. But hey, maybe that was the case, and I'm wrong. And he, he's every right to be concerned about COVID, but who knows. But he's actually going to be in it. It's actually started filming. It hasn't been cancelled. It hasn't been rewritten again.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. But that is obviously heavily implying that possibly Rey is out for good at this point. I don't see them making adjustments during shooting. It's obviously entirely possible, but yeah. What are you actually? You still got some excitement left for Flash, or is the whole Rey situation kind of fudged it a bit?
Yeah, well, I just because people don't know, I'm kind of my
Let me
Twitter
just say,
account's
not that
locked
the
for some
Ray
reason.
stuff is a bad thing. Let me just put
Yeah,
that out there. It's making me sound like
yeah,
I'm not enjoying what Ray's doing. I'm fully behind Ray, but it's
yeah,
a separate question.
yeah. Well, I was saying to you before, like everyone does know my Twitter account is locked for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't do anything bad. Don't worry. Maybe I did. I don't
There were
know.
some very bad
But
things on that Twitter account. We will not talk about it.
yeah, yeah, but I don't know why. But I wasn't on the timeline as much. I can't see the reaction to people, the aggressive reaction or the positive reaction to people about certain news. But just a friend of mine told me that Twitter yesterday was insane. The timeline was kind of a bit shady and a bit kind of aggressive towards the Flash movie, which I fully believe. But yeah, look, the Flash movie, it's hard to get excited for something that you were excited for years ago, and then it was delayed and delayed and delayed. Different directors, writers, different stars. Like I was looking forward to the Flashpoint movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan involved because there was an early script leak of the not the script but the casting list.
Mm-hmm.
Kirstie Clemens was in it as well. Ray Fisher was on it, and so I was excited for that. I'm a huge Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan. I want to see that adaptation in some form of the Flashpoint storyline. And yeah, I was a little bit disappointed over all the stuff with Ray, and still am, and of course Ray's as well. And he said he had a good relationship with Annie Muschietti, and they were on the same page. But it looks like it was taken out of Annie Muschietti's hands. Ray Fisher thrown out of the movie. Sasha Calle brought in as Supergirl. It was up and down whether Michael Keaton would appear in the movie. Looks like he will be in the movie now. Ben Affleck obviously read the script or read his scene, thought it was pretty good, and decided to sign up to it. So there's a lot of positives and negatives about the Flash movie to get you a little bit excited, and then kind of weighs your excitement as well. But I don't know until I see the trailer of the movie, because if it's just a movie to reboot the entire DC universe, to bury Zack Snyder's world, to bury even David Ayer and the parts of James Wan or Patty Jenkins like first movies, I would be a little bit disappointed because it's a Flash movie. Tell a good Flash story. I want to feel for Flash like I did in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I want to see more of the connection with Kirstie Clemens and Iris West and his character. I'm a bit pissed off that Billy Crudup won't be in it as well as Henry Allen. Ron Livingston's brought in as a recast. A little bit annoyed over that as well. So as I said, there's ups and downs with this, but I hope if it's a good movie that's trying to tell a good Flash story with some cool cameos, maybe someone might, Nicolas Cage might show up as an alternate universe Superman or something like that. But tell a good story. But if it's a film just to reboot and to change everything, then I'm going to be a little bit disappointed, because you don't have to do that. This universe isn't in such a bad shape where you used to go, let's wipe it all out, let's create a new one. So I hope that it's a good story. I hope Sasha Calle gets good screen time. It's cool to see Michael Keaton come back, Ben Affleck. But tell a good story. Don't be worrying about trying to reboot the entire universe. If it does that, how excited will you be for the future of DC Universe? And I have faith in Andy Muschietti, who seemed to have got his way with It 1, pretty big hit. It 2 maybe as well. Let's see what he can do. But yeah, I was trying to stay positive. It's just kind of annoying sometimes when you really think about the film.
Because that's the thing, that like isolated away from all the controversy that surrounds the film, it sounds like ridiculously good. You are talking about having two different depictions of Batman. Two of the most well-known interpretations of Batman. Well, I mean, in all fairness, all interpretations of Batman are pretty well-known. But having Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in the same movie as Batman, you have your Flash. You have Kirstie Clemens coming back. You've got Supergirl. You've got so many different things that are all like wow, this seems quite crazy. It seems like a lot for the first Flash movie, and it seems like a much less dramatic way of going about things would have just been doing a Flash solo movie and then maybe having Flash 2 or Flash 3 deal with resetting a universe, because as you said, like there's no real need. I mean, maybe post the Snyder Cut, they're like, okay, we have to basically kill it as soon as possible. But aside from the execs not liking the stuff that Zack has done, they don't need to do any resetting. They don't need to do any rebooting. They don't need to try and start fresh on any part of the DCEU. Just look at that time period between, maybe just after BVS came out and the Snyder Cut coming out. That pattern of your Aquaman, your Aquaman, your Birds of Prey, your Shazam, these isolated stories that work on their own right without needing to stick a middle finger up at the work that Zack did, no matter how much they don't like it. You know, all you need in like that's one of the reasons why I like Shazam a lot, is because it's very subtle in the world building. It's just, they've got a Batarang here, there's an article about Superman in Metropolis here. It's just very little things that show there's an appreciation for the wider universe without having to go overboard and distract you from the story that you're in. And I thought that was like,
as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that, that was really well done. And then you're not saying that Zack's movies are great if you hate them. You're not having to, at the same point, you're not like appeasing anyone in a diehard manner. You're just saying like, this movie, they're in the same universe. Here's a little nugget just to show you that there's cohesion here. Done, right? And that's it. So the idea that the Flash movie would be used to reset, the idea that Andy Muschietti would be in favor of that, I find a bit weird, because he's, obviously a lot of things, like using things like Henry Cavill's, suit as the thing to show to Sasha Calle, I think is nice. Bringing Ben Affleck back, the idea that Ezra Miller would be happy with that, given that Zack was the one who essentially cast him for the role. I don't know. There's something more going on, and I think seeing a trailer will help. But yeah, it's just there are a couple of things that don't quite sit right, and the need to reboot is just unnecessary, and I think it would just confuse general audiences, because I know this is a long rant, but the general audiences, they know about Zack stepping down from Justice League, they know that there's maybe no more sequels going on, but they're not like balls deep like we are in the feud between these aspects of Warner Media, right? They're not like super into, Warner Bros. Aren't doing this, they're not releasing the numbers. The general audience couldn't give a shit about the numbers that Justice League is doing. So to then all of a sudden have a movie that then, explicitly points out that the Snyder Cut or whatever, Ben Affleck and all of that isn't canon anymore, it's just going to confuse the hell out of the audience. Be like, well, why are you doing that? What's the point? I guess you could see it as like a consequence of going back in time or something, or, going into the Speed Force. Maybe, but it's like, I just think that it would massively confuse audiences. It would piss off a large portion of DC fans and general audiences who like Justice League. So yeah, in a long story short, I would be very confused if there's any kind of resetting involved. Maybe I could see them using it as a way to say goodbye to Ben Affleck. I think that's probably the furthest it would go. I really can't see them going any further than that, because I could easily see it as maybe Ben saw it as like a nice, respectable way for him to hang up his cape and say, okay, I love playing Batman, but at least with this, I've got some closure to it rather than anything else. But
yeah,
I don't know. Do you see them resetting with this? Do you think that they could actually get away with it, or are we being dramatic?
Like, I don't see Andy Muschietti wanting to make a movie that's just a movie to change other movies. I think he wants to make a good Flash movie, and make a successful Flash movie that has heart in it and tells a good story. So I have faith in Andy Muschietti that he won't do that.
Yeah.
And and I don't think, I do think like maybe Ben Affleck's done and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine. I think the next Justice League team, that would be built in this universe would be Wonder Woman, because she's successful in this universe from a DC Warner Brothers standpoint. Aquaman made $1 billion, so he's not going to be moved anytime soon.
Yep.
And Flash is in production, and they're trying to get going for a long time. Then you have Henry Cavill. Not sure what's going to happen there whatsoever, with contracts, with money, if they want him back or not. There's a Supergirl now, so he might not be involved whatsoever. Ben Affleck's Batman is pissed off at the studio. Ben Affleck pissed off in the studio, and everything happened with Zack and stuff, so he just want to be there long term. That's fine. Then the stuff that's going on with Ray Fisher and Walter Amadeus. That's why them three guys are kind of not, like, some of them are ousted and some of them are just kind of gone from the DC universe. So then you have the three characters of Flash, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. So I think those will stay in the Justice League team moving forward. I think being introduced in that Justice League team would be Supergirl, Sasha Calle's Supergirl. I think that Michael Keaton is being brought in for another movie as well. I think they will do an adaptation of Batman Beyond. I don't think they'll use Terry McGinnis. Okay. I think they'll use a Batgirl. So, and I think that's what the Justice League team could be going forward. Michael Keaton as a mentor to the Justice League, while you have the three original with Sasha Calle's Supergirl and Batgirl. That's what I think is going to happen to some degree. If it's going to work or not, I don't know, but that's what I could see happening in future movies. And I don't know what timeline the Flash will be in by the end of the movie, if it's the main one or if it's reset and just changed a little bit. You know, just small bits of the universe are changed, or if Michael Keaton's brought into our universe, or I say our universe, the one we know about. But we'll have to wait and see. But I think Anna Muschietti is trying to make a good Flash movie.
Yeah.
First of all. So let's see how it goes. And we don't really know if the trailer comes out. More casting news maybe as well. But a lot of people are saying they're going to boycott the movie, not watching the movie and stuff over Ray Fisher, which is 100%. But we'll have to see before we get more information. But right now, if I was to watch it, yeah, I'd watch it.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that are that have promise. And again, like every time I'm talking about the good things about this movie, I'm speaking entirely in isolation of just the good things of the movie and not the whole things with Ray and all that, because, you know, we've said numerous times on the show that we completely support his battle. And, you know, he's winning pretty hard, but I did like how he took the opportunity to retweet the Flash teaser and say, yeah, Walter Hamada, you still need to apologize to everyone. So I did like that a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. He's just not letting it go. So keep not letting it go. That's what I say. But in terms of, like, yeah, I think things like casting Supergirl, I think that's like there's not a lot of people who I think are against that at all. It's just that there's this seeming like misreading of the room that a load of people don't want Henry Cavill anymore and they want like a Supergirl instead. And it's like, you guys do realize you could just put both of them in a movie together and a lot of people would go and watch that movie. Like, I don't know if maybe Flash is going to then set up the second Superman movie and it'll be him and Sasha Calle. You know, I don't know if she's going to be maybe an inexperienced Supergirl that's brought into the world because of Flash messing with timelines, and then they have like a, you know, like a buddy up film, and Henry's like a mentor. I think that could be, you know, a really cool idea. And yeah, you don't really have to, you know, fully respect what Zack has done. I mean, I don't want them to disrespect it, but I'm just trying to think from the Warner Bros. Perspective of just not wanting anything to do with the Snyderverse. It's like, it's entirely possible that you could use this to do an all number of films without having to do some kind of hardcore reset. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're blowing it out of proportion. Maybe there isn't going to be a reset whatsoever. It's just speculation. Ben's obviously did not need to sign up to this project, but he's chosen to, so it's obviously going to have some sort of appeal to him and wanting to do right by Zack and his interpretation of Batman. So who knows? Yeah,
like we're all a bit all over exaggerate at times, especially online and towards things like that. Like, I know there's other kind of bloggers out there who've said that they heard it's a complete reset and they don't know, but like they didn't know that Michael Keaton's going to sign back up or whatever. Michael Keaton's going to be in the movie. Some were playing Robin Pants will appear, you know, stuff like that. Like, does anyone really know? At the end of the day, when you we know about casting, we know about when the movie's happening, when it's coming out, apparently, and stuff like that. But does anyone else really know what's going to happen in this movie? And we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we could be just over exaggerating it. We could just get worried.
That's the thing. We're just trying to like scrap it. What are the promising things about this film? Because there's a whole lot of shit attached to this film, so it's one of those things you just want to try and find those little nuggets of like, oh, a Supergirl, that's pretty cool. Oh, seeing Michael Keaton again, that's pretty cool. Whether it's some subterfuge to achieve some shady things and, you know, be a giant fuck you to Ray and all the other people, like, we're just gonna have to wait and see, I think.
Yeah, and like you said, you talked about, is it going to set up a sequel where Sasha Calle and Henry Cavill are together in a movie? Like, the quick answer to that is it's DC, it's Warner Bros. So they have they have no plan right now. If the Flash comes out and it's a huge hit, then of course they'll probably think of options that they set up in the movie. But if it comes out and it's not received too well and it doesn't do that well at the box office, will they be too eager of doing more? I don't know, more of Sasha Calle or more of whatever characters are in the movie. So it all depends on the performance. But if you look at it was in 2016 or 2017, Shang-Chi was announced, and so was New Gods around the same time or something like that, or was it Eternals? Eternals, I think. Sorry,
Eternals, yeah.
And which movie's coming out this year? Eternals. Marvel always has a plan, and they stick to it, and they give the fans what they want. So it's DC. I don't get to it. As we said at the start of this conversation, we don't get excited until we're ready to press play, or we have our popcorn in our hand and we're walking through the doors. So yeah.
At the very least, it's starting to film, so at least something has happened. That's what we can say.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff about maybe the first look at the suit, more of the score and stuff. And people are saying that I see some people shitting on them with the symbol look. Oh, it's too CW-esque. It's just a symbol. It doesn't mean that the movie's going to be bad or not. It's just a logo. It's just a logo for something that.
That's the thing. It's like, it's one thing to complain about it because you want to defend Rey. I just go to Rey because that's like the main bone of contention. It's one thing if you want to say like, I don't know the look of this because Rey has been screwed over by this film. Fair enough. But to say logo bad equals movie bad, it's just like, come on, guys. We're not bootlicking Warner Bros. Here or anything like that. But like, you gotta tone it down a little bit, Yeah,
exactly. And would you think that if if Ben Affleck's appearing, if Ezra Miller, of course, is in it, do you think we'll get cameos from Wonder Woman and Aquaman?
That's difficult. That's a really difficult question. Maybe there's gonna be some movie magic, and they'll just use some previously unseen footage. Maybe get certain members of the Justice League on a Zoom call in a green screen, and shoot their scenes. I don't know. Maybe. I think for the sake of things, I think this movie's going to be costing quite a lot of money because of, your Michael Keaton, Ezra, Ben, Sasha, you're bringing a lot of characters into this. So I think if they can, maybe not have half the Justice League appear in the movie, they probably like that as a way of saving a little bit of money. Would I like the Justice League to appear in this movie? Hell yeah, I would. All of them. But I'm not holding out on anything really at the moment.
It would really help the movie as well, because for Suicide Squad, if you went to go see it opening night, like word of mouth, you could say, "Oh, the Flash appeared in a scene," and you're like, "What? Flash appeared? Okay, I'm gonna go check out Suicide Squad." That's why the movie did so well, because it had so much of these characters. Joker was in it, and he interacted with Batman, kinda. Harley Quinn and Joker interacted. You had certain cool things like that.
The post-credit scene with Ben Affleck was also. Yeah. I hold it that that's like probably my all-time favorite post-credit scene of any movie, because it's just so cool. Good.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can just tell that Waller knows that he's Batman, and it's just, he stopped working nights. It's like, it's so cold, and it's like, oh, damn. And it gives you so much excitement for what was to come, right?
Yeah.
You're like, man.
But then if the Flash movie comes out and there's another like post-credit scene and it's pretty cool, I'm not going to get too much excited for the future of DC until...
Yeah, maybe you might as well have not showed me that, because I'm just going to wait until something comes out in the future, and then I'll actually see it and know that you were teasing something that was actually going to happen. At the moment, it's like, oh, I was excited for New Gods for a few years, cancelled.
Right. I like Aquaman's going into shooting pretty soon, later this year. Like, they don't have to appear in the Flash movie for 15 minutes. I'm just talking about a small little cameo, small little thing. Maybe he's just going through Flashpoint and he ends up here, and that's he sees Aquaman. Something like that would just be cool. So I think there is a possibility. I think they will appear in the movie. Barcy B says maybe not. Wonder Woman says Gal is pregnant, but I think she was pregnant in the reshoots for Wonder Woman 1 as well. Nobody knows. So, but yeah, she is pregnant.
It just depends on if she's at like 8 months and having to walk around. I feel sorry for her having to get up from being comfortable to go and do that. But maybe. But
like, if you look at the Flash cameo in Suicide Squad, that wasn't even shot by David Ayer. That was shot by Zach on the Justice League lot in London when they were shooting that movie. So while James Wan's shooting Aquaman, he could shoot a small scene and just send it over to Andy Muschietti. That's how that could work. So I think they will appear at some point. And about Ray Fisher appearing in the movie, do I think there's a chance? I think there's always a chance. I think the best case scenario for Ray Fisher is just a cameo in the movie, which I would love to see. Even if that's just all we get, I would love to see him back as a cameo. But he might not
give more Ray Fisher. He's so good. And he loves the character.
Yeah.
But hey, it's one of those things that, you know, the bone of contention that he has at the moment is, you know, it's not with Andy, it's not with the film, it's with people right at the top who can just, no matter how much Andy wants him in the film, no matter how much Ray wants to be in the film, you've got guns up above who are just pointing at him and saying, you can't do this. So,
yeah.
I don't know, who knows, maybe there'll be some great structural change and we'll actually get, you know, non-assholes in executive positions, and then he'd be like, great, I can go do this now. But
I don't know, if you look at anything, politics, sport, right now, especially in England and around the world, and movies, it's the same shit, just different faces in suits, the same suits the whole time. So
we can hold our hope that Ray will be back in the Flash, but they have a bit of a PR nightmare on their hands if they don't bring him back. I mean, whether it would have died down by the time the press junket comes out, I don't know, but it would be very hard for them to, you know, not have questions saying, you wanted Ray to be in this movie, but he couldn't. Why? You know, it's like, you can't avoid that at all.
Yeah.
You know, Ray is routinely appearing in the trades. He's in Empire. He's in this. He's in that. You know, I've got a copy of the Empire mag on my desk, courtesy of my brother here. And, you know, it's all about Ray. He's slapped all over it. And it's just, how can you avoid that? So, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be some appeasement going on. Again, it's Warner Bros, as we said. But let's move on. We've been on this one for a while.
I have some comments.
Go for it.
Nicotina goes, what's up, guys?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, Nicotina. We'll definitely have Nicotina on the show in the next few weeks for episodes. Come on.
We will make him, even if he doesn't want to come on. He's coming on.
Yeah. We'll capture him. Definitely go check out his channel as well. Nicotina covers all things DC, movies, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. Watch alongs as well of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which are pretty fun. Darcy B goes, I just want to know if Ben's Batman dies or not. That will determine if I see it.
I don't think he'll die. I think that's
No.
I think that's a bit you know, you really need like connection to that character. I know he's been in technically like 4 movies if you have BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Snyder Cut. I know technically he's but you know, realistically we'll say 2. To kill him off in the film, I don't know. I think he would have to have a very substantial role in the film, and also it's Batman. Like, how do you kill off Batman without it being like a big deal? Maybe it being a consequence of Barry messing with the Speed Force. I don't know. I don't think he'll die. I think the worst case scenario for Ben will be that he just like disappears from reality. He can't exist in the same timeline or some shit like that.
A reset.
Yeah. I don't want that to happen, but I think that's the worst that could happen.
Yeah, I think we see Ben at the start of the movie and then probably the end of the movie. And Barry goes to different timelines, Michael Keaton, all that kind of stuff. Fatma goes, hello. What's up, Fatma?
Hello.
Definitely check out Fatma's channel as well. She's been on.
That was the most unenthusiastic recommendation I've ever heard. Yep, go check it out.
Wait, what's she do? I don't know what she does over there. I don't know. Fatma does loads of things. Fatma actually does cool. She watches a movie that she's never seen before. So she watched the entire Star Wars saga. She'd never seen some of the movies and that as well, which were pretty fun. So
we never did our Star Wars stream, actually. We've been planning on doing that for ages, and I remember bringing out my opinion that I thought Rogue One was awful, and everyone was ripping me for it.
Yeah, we should definitely do that in the future, because
we'll get Fatma on for that one, because she's the most like fresh-minded when it comes to Star Wars. Like, nobody here has seen Star Wars for like a year, so
yeah. KC probably be a good one as well. He likes The Last Jedi. Well, he loves The Last Jedi. So. That should be an interesting stream. Thickness goes, I'm back. That teaser was pretty dope, LOL. Thickness left us and went to watch the Mortal Kombat opening.
It was like half an hour ago. How many times did you watch it?
Becca's Designs is here. Yeah, made it. Hi, guys. What's up, Becca? RCB goes, I already read that out. Thickness goes, that was seriously awesome. And Water said, you should stop fucking nights. Yeah, that was cool. Yes, get Nicotina on. LOL, make it happen. We'll definitely do that. If you guys want Nicotina on, we'll get him on.
We will do it. Just for you guys. Because that's how much you mean to us.
You make us happy.
The money is in your account now, Sean. Don't worry. You don't have to say that again.
Okay. Thanks, Thickness.
Right. So, now, let's talk about Marvel. Let's talk about things that are actually happening, rather than things that are marred by confusion and chaos. So first thing, the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I believe,
That's a
had
big
its
takeaway.
trailer drop yesterday, I believe. It was Simu, I don't know how to say his name, his birthday, and he was told that yeah, you got a poster that you can release, and he did, and then Marvel dropped the actual trailer without him knowing, or without him knowing, within quote marks, might just be great PR. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, for someone who doesn't know anything about the character, the lore, or the comics, nothing. I think the actor was in the sitcom Kim's Convenience. Look at the Henry Cavill cameo. Um, Kim's Convenience, and yeah, it's not the best trailer I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't get me as hyped as say Army of the Dead did,
Mm-hmm.
that trailer, or I think the Black Widow trailers were a little bit better. But I thought it was a fun trailer. It was good. It showcased some of the cool choreographed action sequences that we're going to get. Um, so yeah, I'll definitely watch the movie. I'm excited to learn and be educated about these characters that I don't know anything about. Shang-Chi, the villain looks pretty menacing as well. Uh, as I said, the choreographed action sequences looks like it's one shot, not one shot, but kind of one shot in a way like John Wick, Atomic
Mm.
Blonde. Those types of movies. I like that action. Where the camera kind of sits and you get to see everything that happens in it. That looks like what the action's going to be. Of course, a bit of humor thrown in at the end there. It was a pretty serious trailer until the very last shot. We'll make a good team at the bus kind of crash. So yeah, I'll check it out, and I'm interested to see how it actually attached itself to the MCU world. I
Mm.
think it takes place within the 5-year blip when Thanos snaps. I think this movie takes place in between that, and it's supposed to touch on maybe, I know I've seen some people say it's going to touch on what Hawkeye was doing in as a kind of
Oh, of course, yeah.
something like that. I don't know if he's going to be in it as a cameo or maybe he's just referenced or something, but I think there's going to be some kind of connection that way. So yeah, I'll check it out. And she looks good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Looks good. I think maybe another trailer could be good. Not obviously not right now, but like another trailer that could give us a bit of a better. I don't know. I think the tone of the film was something that I felt was not missing, but not like as well conveyed as maybe other elements of the trailer. I'm not sure if you're talking up my ass here, but it felt like a very general Marvel movie from the trailer alone. It was a good trailer, and I'm excited for it because it does look pretty damn good. But my impression of Shang-Chi from like as soon as we knew it was happening was that it was going to be a very kind of unique vibe to the film. Like I think things like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier obviously are good examples of Marvel pushing it a bit tonally while still keeping it within that Marvel formula. This just kind of felt like Marvel formula to me. That's my only criticism I can really have of it. I mean, it looks good. The action looks great, as you said. I think that's going to be like one of the things that the movie prides itself on the most. How deep a dive into things like Asian culture we may get, I don't know. I'm hopeful that they go real deep into it, and give us a lot of backstory. But yeah, I don't know. It's didn't leave the biggest mark. That's all I will say.
Some of the shots were cool. Some of the color in some of the shots were pretty bad. It kind of reminded me a bit of Falcon and Winter Soldier. What's it called? Metapore, or that kind of city that we got to see.
Madripoor.
Yeah, it kind of looked a bit like that. Maybe that's going to be it. I don't know. But I actually thought it was going to be all based in China. I thought it was going to be all in China. But we got in the bus stop, it had California as destination. So maybe they come to America. But I was actually kind of hyped to see it all take place in China. Maybe a bit of Zack Snyder's idea for Adam. And I'm sure it is respectful to the culture of Chinese people and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to have a Chinese character at the forefront of such a big comic book movie. So that's cool also.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I thought it was going to be just like an exclusively, I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, exclusively Asian movie, if that makes sense. But who knows? Obviously we have other films like Black Panther where it's like it's mostly here, but there's a bits that are outside here. So I think it'd be consistent to that general formula. But yeah, I think another trailer would really, really get me into it. But as of right now, I'm like, okay, you've got my curiosity, but you haven't got the second half of the Django quote. You don't have my attention just yet. obviously, Kevin Feige's on alert now that I said that. He's gonna be like, shit, we're gonna remedy this because that one guy said that it's not it got its full attention. But hey, who knows? I'm looking forward to it so far though.
Yeah, I wonder what we get any cameos as well from some of the OG Avenger characters or in the world. But I have some breaking news. I have some MCU Marvel breaking news exclusive for the movie buffs.
Wow!
Breaking news is that Secret Invasion is a show that's coming to Disney Plus, and it's going to star Samuel L. Jackson. I think Ben, you like that guy Ben from Captain Marvel. You know what's his
name?
Ben
Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn, I think he's going to be in it. And also, they're going to be joined by Emilia Clarke.
Wow.
So, what do you think of that?
Okay. Damn. I thought you were going to talk about Olivia Colman, because I think there was an article going around today that she was going to join it, or that she was in talks to join it.
Probably still is, yeah.
I mean, yeah, in fairness.
Probably will be.
But Emilia Clarke, wow. I mean, for a long time I had her pinned as I thought she was going to be the new Mira, but don't think that they're going to replace Amber Heard, which, again, I have no side in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing because I know fuck all about it, but I just think from a PR perspective, it seems like a pretty bad idea to keep her on the film. Even if she is a great Mara, I love her Mara, but I just thought that they were just going to play it safe. Let's just replace her. But yeah, that's a huge cast for that. That's a big ass statement for that show.
And Emilia Clarke has been in Game of Thrones, arguably one of the biggest TV shows of all time for HBO. She was also in a Star Wars movie, Han Solo. I like the movie. Han Solo didn't do that well, box office and stuff like that. But she's been in these huge franchises. And of course, we got discovered articles that Emilia Clarke is replacing Amber Heard as Mira in Aquaman. I don't really like recasting characters as much and stuff like that with different actors for the same character. She was a different character in the comic book, something like that. But yeah, Emilia Clarke joining Secret Invasion that's pretty big for them, and she's got a huge fan base as well. So yeah, it's never a mistake to add talent to anything. And Secret Invasion was a show that I wasn't too excited over that much because the Skrulls, I don't like them that much. I know you like the Skrulls, I don't like them. But I love Samuel L. Jackson, and I really like Emilia Clarke. So Secret Invasion just got me a little bit more pumped.
Yeah, I mean that's a big. I mean, the same Marvel don't need to make big statements, but that is a big statement. Just to say hell yeah, we're going A-listers with that show, especially if they get someone like Olivia Colman on there as well. Won a boatload of awards. That would be a very stacked cast, and it kind of gives me a bit of hope that it's maybe not. This is the thing. Whenever I talk about Marvel stuff, I'm always like, I want them to do a little bit more. I want them to go beyond MCU, or not beyond MCU, but just maybe push the tone a bit further. Get a little bit more diverse in what you're doing, rather than the same formulaic approach that works, but push it a little bit. Which is why I'm a fan of the show so far. But we'll get into that.
Yeah. But it's also confirmed that Olivia Colman will also be in it as well.
Well, there you go. So yeah, but those casting announcements make me think that maybe they're gonna, really go for something unique here. That's a hell of a cast to put in some generic Marvel show or generic Marvel film. It's got to be worth their time. Samuel L. Jackson's obviously basically on board for anything Marvel at this point, but to get everybody else on there, to get Emilia Clarke, to get Olivia Colman, it's like Christian Bale with Thor 4. It's it's got to be something a little bit above and beyond. Maybe they just want to say fuck it, I want an easy paycheck. Just give me something easier to do. But who knows? I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for that. I was not thinking at all about Secret Invasion, but now I'm definitely, now you have my attention.
Yes. All these big actors being attached to these Marvel projects was insane. So, but that's Secret Invasion coming out on Disney Plus sometime probably next year.
A Movie Buffs exclusive. We were the first to break. Yeah. Emilia Clarke just messaged Sean and said, "I'm gonna be on Secret Invasion." So we obviously can't show you the DMs, respect privacy, but be grateful you were here because that is.
Yeah. So you're welcome. No, but that's pretty good. I just see that on the Twitter, on my Twitter that I can't post on. Sickness Goes was your Twitter countdown, Sean. Kinda. I can't post, tweet, DM. I don't know why. Twitter said it was their mistake. my account was back working, and then the next day it wasn't. So I don't know what's happened. But
So if you want any movies that are content, you have to come to the Twitter handle that's beneath my picture. I'm not going to tweet any of the shit that Sean does, but you got to follow that account. It's the only way. Twitter has told me personally that you have to follow this account if you want the other one to come back. So there's not a lot I can do there, but got to get that clout somehow.
Yeah, I was retweeting too many of "We Got This Covered" articles. And stuff,
This article contains misleading information. You're banned for fake news. But yeah, the other thing that we're going to talk about Marvel related is Falcon and Winter Soldier. We briefly touched on it last episode a couple weeks ago, but had to be very generic and non-spoilery because I had not seen any of it. But a couple nights ago, it's like 2 nights in a row, got through all 5 episodes, and I'm fully caught up to speed. So, for now, until that text right at the bottom of the screen changes, there may be some spoilers. Well, there will be spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so go away now or mute yourself if you don't want to hear any spoilers. But we're going to get into it. Let's start. What are your views on Falcon and Winter Soldier? Do you like it?
I love it. It's class. I'm having a good time with it because some of the episode 1 and 2 was kind of a slow burn, but it hit some themes on racism, PTSD, depression, and stuff like that. I really went deep on it, and I thought to myself, "Oh, they're going to shy away from it now in the coming episodes. Going to get very MCU-esque going forward." But action's been great. From the cliffhangers, the story interaction, the development has just been crazy, and I think it's a better show than WandaVision. WandaVision was more mystery and suspense and what's going to happen. But what does all this mean? But Falcon and Winter Soldier is just top tier MCU content for me. It's up there with one of the Winter Soldier movie, Captain America Winter Soldier. It's up there with Infinity War. It's just that good for me, and it's a pity that it's only 6 episodes. Last episode coming Friday because I just want more of this show and these characters.
Damn, that's high praise.
Yeah, you don't agree?
I fully agree with you. I think it's fantastic. I'm in the same boat. I like binging 5 episodes in 2 nights, even when they're like 45 minutes long each, which I completely forgot about until I started watching. I was like, fucking hell, how long is this? It's it kind of, this is the thing, right? When I watch something, I like have an immediate reaction, and then after like a day or two, then I just think about it a bit more, and I'm like, then I have my proper reaction. Remember that happening with Wonder Woman. The first one I watched it, I was like, damn, that was pretty good. And then I was also on the car ride home. Every time I thought about it more, I was like, fucking hell, I love that. That was really great. But yeah, no, I fully agree. This is really good. I'm super invested. They've written these characters better here than they did in the movies, but obviously that's because they have the time to flesh them out. You can have a whole episode just about what happened to Bucky in all these time periods. You can talk about the themes of racism, which I thought were handled beautifully. I thought they handled really well. This is the thing, right? And obviously we talk about this a lot, but we're not going to know what it's like for that character. But I think for Anthony Mackie, that was probably something that is obviously very personal, and I thought it was really well done. And the fact that there was cover up of previous soldiers just because he was black, and the implications of a black Captain America, and that being such like a personal toll for Sam. He's not like, I can't just take the shield, I can't just have the shield, to getting to the point now where he's like, I feel like I'm ready. And I can maybe create a new legacy for the role of Captain America. Yeah, and it's not like forceful in any way. I think it's very easy for when you're doing like social commentary in anything. It's very easy for that to be kind of beaten over the head with. I think that Batman v Superman is a great example of doing social commentary well. I still think there are quite a few people who didn't quite appreciate that it was the immigrant story. So if anything, that was too underdone than overdone for a few people. But yeah, that's my long way of saying I think they've handled a lot of the themes in this show really kind of gracefully in a show where most people are just watching it to see Falcon and Winter Soldier beat the shit out of people. Yeah,
I think the director for all 6 episodes has been a woman. and also the writers have been largely people of color as well. So you can see that carrying over into the show. And as you said, Isaiah Bradley was a soldier who was given the super soldier serum, fought in the Korean War, was a hero, saved lives, but then treated as a criminal when he came home, put in prison, experimented on. I thought those scenes between Isaiah Bradley and Sam were just so powerful. And I think the team with John Walker, who I hate, but I also sympathize with, because when we meet John Walker, he's lamented as the new Captain America, but then you see him on his downtime with his wife, I think it was, and his friend Battlestar, and you kind of feel for the character, but then he's under so much pressure being the Captain America, being the symbol for America, and it leads to him like pushing a little bit further than say Steve Rogers would. And even though the character's in a bad position right now, I still feel for the character, but I also hate the character. So, and then the stuff with Bucky as well is very deep. With Sam and his family, the show is just, it's just a really good show. And when I say it's top tier MCU content, I really mean that, because I've been harsh on MCU movies and shows. I've enjoyed them, take them for what they are, and I enjoy them, but this is just different level.
It is. There are a few things that, like, every time I'm watching something MCU related, the one thing that like always hits me every time, I'm just like, please have a more original soundtrack. Like I always talk about this every time, right? And it's like one of the episodes where they're fighting the flag smashers on the trucks, on the lorries on the open road. Like, it's a very generic soundtrack, and I'm not meaning to shit on it or anything, but it's the one thing that I think would really escalate MCU to just that next step above, which would be, get your Junkie XL, or, I'm obviously not going to get someone like Hans Zimmer for a fucking project like this, but give your soundtrack some style, some niche to it. And on episode 5, I think it was, and maybe like towards the end of episode 4, they had that. The soundtrack got a bit, sinister. It got a bit creepy, and it was like, I'm really digging this now. I'm really, again, it's just me being niche and pedantic over small things, but it's like you're seeing Marvel kind of like push things a little bit more, push things here, push things there, going super deep into racism, going super deep into the, like imposter syndrome and being, you're filling the boots of Captain America and his legacy, and how, no matter, even if he's a great guy, he's got all his medals of honor, he can't live up to that, the ideal. He needs serum. And I think, in Bucky's, one that I'd loved, the little snippets where we've seen Bucky getting over his conditioning so that he's no longer prey to the code words. It's like, it's every little like story beat. It's like, yes, this is really good. And I think with WandaVision, it was kind of like a, that. It was like, it started off, no, wait, other way around. It started off like, and then like middle chunk was really good, and then it, for me, pretty bad ending. That's just, my personal take, but Falcon and Winter Soldier's just been consistently, if not getting better as it's gone on. Like episode 4 and episode 5 were really, really good. Yeah,
and like on Disney Plus, and for them to have that ending to episode 4 with John Walker, spoilers, kills this guy brutally with the shield, blood all over the shield. That's such a powerful image, blood all over the shield. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And episode 5 was more of kind of a wind down episode, but I still enjoyed it because of what I set up in the previous 4. Just enjoyed this time with the characters, but they have to get the ending right. It has to be have to stick to the ending.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's. I think if WandaVision had a better finale, I would hold it in a lot higher regard, because it's that recency bias, isn't it? It's that you always remember the thing you saw last or whatever. But having had time to be objective about it and see WandaVision as a whole, I'm like, okay, I have my grievances about the show as a whole, but yeah, they've done such a good job, and it's like, I feel like I don't want just a safe ending. I want them to keep pushing it and go for a risky ending. Something gives us a nice conclusion, but is very dramatic about the whole thing. But hey, I have no doubt that they will nail it, because they've done such a great job with it so far. I didn't expect myself to like it as much as I have, and I kind of wish I hadn't seen I hadn't seen the ending of episode 4, but I'd seen like memes about it, like when he raises the shield and he pulls that, like, he's like, ugh face when he's lifting the shield. I saw that on Twitter. I saw like art of the shield covered in blood, so I knew that he was probably going to do something bad. But despite that, yeah, I didn't expect myself to enjoy it as much as I have. So this is the thing we always talk about, right? I'm always saying like, Marvel, like push it, you know, get riskier with your stuff. And I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is like one of the riskiest things that they've done, because I don't think people expect to watch like an MCU show or film or whatever and all of a sudden be kind of not hit over the head, but be not ambushed. I don't know what the white road is, but just to kind of walk into something as deep as racism and the experience of a black guy in America, like, but it's done so well, you know. I'm just really enjoying it, and it's just like every time I talk about it, it's like hits in my head a little bit more. I'm like, God, this show's really good.
Something about how Sam's treated when he has the suit on and when he just has the suit on, that's so powerful as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the like this was a show I wasn't pumped for whatsoever. I said I'd watch it, but then I watched the first episode and I just second episode same. So yeah, it's
I'm agree. Yeah, like it was WandaVision and Loki were the two that I was like, I'm super hyped for this. MCU Phase 4 in general, I'm not like massively hyped for or anything. So to be kind of caught off guard by Falcon and Winter Soldier being actually really good, I'm really, really happy about. So yeah, bring on the finale. It's only 3 days away. So
yeah, Friday. So we'll definitely do a review of that next week or later this week whenever we do a show.
Yeah, I think Sebastian and Anthony, they were like, yeah, we're gonna come on, but like all of a sudden somebody gave them like 50 mil, so they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
We could only give them 48 mil, but you know, we tried, guys, we tried. We had to spend the other 2 mil getting Sean's goddamn Twitter account back, but we're trying, all right.
Yeah, but Zemo was pretty cool as well.
But what? Wait, what did you say?
Zemo.
Oh, I think you said Steve was really cool, and I was like, oh yeah, from us having a chat with Steve Rogers, you know. And I was like, wait, did you say? I heard like an O at the end. Steve-O? Are we talking to Steve-O? I went through like 30 different thought processes in the space of like 2 seconds then.
I've seen the finale. I just spoiled it. Steve Rogers appears.
No. Steve-O appears. Steve-O from Jackass, you know? Like, they get to the whole end, and then it's like, Steve-O catches the shield, and I'm Steve-O Rogers, and welcome to Jackass, and it's this whole... Who knows? That was a wild ride I just took in my head then, but...
I'd watch that Jackass Captain America.
That'd be amazing. Oh, don't get my hopes up now, because isn't like Jackass 4 like meant to be coming out at some point? I could have sworn it was.
Yeah, they're gonna make one.
I hope to God they do. But anyway, so last but not least, I think we had a awesome event over the weekend, JusticeCon. A lovely celebration of Zach and his related works, hosted by Meg and the Nerd Queens, who we talked to Nana on your stream before Justice League came out. Very, very nice people. And obviously, so the first JusticeCon was like a year ago or so, and that was, really enjoyable. And it was only natural that the next one would be kind of off the charts crazy. We had the cast of Army of the Dead, all the women from Army of the Dead, Dave Bautista, Zach had a couple of panels, Deborah Snyder, Wes Collier, I can't remember how to say his last name. There were a lot of people. We had people from the Snyder Cut community who were on different panels, and the artists doing workshops, cosplay. Like, damn, it was a celebration. Did you get a chance to enjoy it?
Yeah, not every single panel because there was so many of them, and then I had stuff to do. But I got to see Zach's one, Chris Terrio.
Chris Terrio, of course, yeah.
Joe Manganiello.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when Ray Porter showed up, those types of guys. So yeah, I got to see the big ones. No disrespect to the other ones. I just made time to see the big ones, but I'll definitely catch up. But yeah, it was cool. Dave Bautista as well. Awesome to talk about how he wanted to be. He talked about Lobo as well, and Bane. So they're pretty cool characters as well. I think Dak had a different name for Batman v Superman. I think it was Son of Sun, as in Son of Sun, S-U-N.
Yeah.
Bash of. What was the Batman one?
Night of Night.
Yeah, so interesting title. I think
it was one of his ideas, right? And it's all of a sudden just like exploded. I saw several articles today of like Zack Snyder wanted it to be this title, and it's like, at least from what I can remember, he didn't say that was my idea, They were just saying that these were some of the ideas that we were floating around. But again, when you hear like some of the stuff that Chris Terrio has obviously come out with and said, like you're hearing all of these things, like something like the BVS title, which is something I never even questioned to be problematic, and then all of a sudden thinking that this is Warner Bros. Obviously saying, no, you need Batman and Superman in the title, you need this. It's like, damn, why didn't I even think about that? Why didn't I even think that this was just a studio just trying to fuck over this movie in every way possible? But it was one of the things that I got to give Justice Con credit for is another place for Chris Terrio to just speak out about whatever he wants, because we've only heard from him once in the official trade like about a week or so ago. So being able to hear him go off and talk about just stuff in general, it's nice. It's just nice to hear from him.
Cool. Yeah, he definitely has a big brain. I want to hear more of it.
Yeah, Chris, if you're watching, maybe there's a space for you here on the show. Maybe.
Yeah, and even Joe Manganiello kind of hinted at who he may have killed in the Batman film, because he kills a few people onto Bruce Wayne, so he still wants to do Deathstroke.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't be excited for that, Just another opportunity. First of all, just being able to talk to Joe Manganiello is fucking awesome, so props to the con for being able to do that. But it's something you mentioned before earlier in the show, and it's something we talked about last time, is how is the Deathstroke show on HBO Max just not a thing? How is it not a thing? You could do it for extraordinarily cheap. Demand from pretty much everyone, whether you're into the Snyderverse or not. How is it not just like, yeah, let's do that? That's an easy way for us to make money. Yeah. I don't know. I'd forgotten about it until Justice Con, and then I saw Joe Manganiello, and then I was like, it'd be really great if you could have a show. And then you just get angry all over again. You're like, why aren't you guys making this?
Yeah, and then kind of Red Fisher talked about when he showed up in the Flash movie, not the Warner Brothers, so they have to apologize for what their side of it was. He always had a good relationship with Andy Muschietti, so maybe he could pop up.
I mean, I respect how much of a man of principle he is. I'm not just saying I could just do this movie, can make a decent chunk of change. Albeit we did hear that they were trying to shaft him out of making money, right? It was like he was going to be off for a 2-week shoot, and they were going to label it as a cameo, so he wasn't going to make any money or as much money. So yeah, I mean it's crazy, but it's just to go back to Justice Con. It's nice to have that kind of like centralized, I don't know, which is a convention, for everything to just come into place, and it's everything that Zach wants to talk about with Justice League and with Army of the Dead, and then it's the thing that I know we talked about this before, when you're seeing things like Justice Con being credited in articles, and people are like, oh, Zack Snyder said this when he appeared at this convention, that was organized by his fans for free and all that stuff, and you're just seeing that everywhere. It's like, oh, Zach said this, Joe Manganiello said this, Ray said that, and just seeing that prop up here and there, it's nice because you're kind of seeing that. I mean, at least specifically within the Snyder Cut community, you're seeing that shift of, I guess, like fan power. It's no longer that Zach needs to go to a Comic-Con. He doesn't need to go to this. He doesn't need to go to Comic-Con's a big example, and obviously I'm sure he'd love to do it, but like he doesn't need to do that. You don't need to have people paying shitloads of money to go to it. You can have these fan conventions free of charge, which is a blessing, for a lot of people. Access to all the panels that you can then watch live free of charge. You can then watch them after the fact free of charge. If they've got any teasers, you get to see it then and there. So I don't know. Maybe it's a domino that could fall for moving forward. I doubt you're going to upend something like Comic-Con, but the effort to provide something like this for free is very, very commendable, and I respect the hell out of it. And
there was loads of donations as well, money raised as well. Yeah,
got to I think it was over 20k, and so the movement as a whole reached $750,000 for AFSP.
It's brilliant, like it's crazy. But like something like this just shows you that you can have these things for charity or in good faith without having these massive ones where you pay loads of money to go to a Comic-Con.
Exactly.
I think San Diego Comic-Con is, or maybe it's not San Diego, but one of the main Comic-Cons is happening this Thanksgiving in America.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some rumors if it's not successful, Comic-Con will die. The main kind of Comic-Con will die. You'd probably have smaller conventions and stuff like that, but it just shows you like the pandemic has probably killed Comic Cons as a whole because you can do them over Zoom. You can
Yeah,
do it in a
it's
cheap
like
way.
to what
And I
extent are
also,
people going to be comfortable jamming themselves into a convention hall just to watch a trailer or something? It's like, do people really want to do that?
yeah. So then there's money going to something good, so you don't have to go and pay loads of money to go somewhere else when this is a prime example of you can do this, you can have some fun, you can rewatch the panels, and also it's going to a good cause. So.
Exactly. I mean, I appreciate the sentimental value that comes with Comic Con and like the hype around it and the event and everyone traveling to go to this really cool thing. You got to respect that, but like at the same time, when you have something like a Justice Con, which, as you say, it's free, any money that you do pay goes towards a good cause. You're giving spotlights to artists within the community and cosplayers to do their thing and get recognition. Like, how can you not see that as how can you see that's a bad thing? Aside from maybe like all the revenue that maybe businesses around a Comic-Con could make, but it's like there's a pandemic. People aren't going to be as comfortable jamming themselves in with thousands of people into a crowded convention space. Like, I don't think people are going to be happy with that for a while. So I think at the very least there's going to be like that midway point, right, where like another Comic-Con is going to be seats spaced the hell out and capacity is going to be at like half or like 40%, and they'll have to stream it. But then it's like, if you're going to pay people to do that, it's like with other previous Comic-Cons, it's like you just wait for the trailer to come out. Most of the time, 90% of the time, the trailer just gets dropped straight afterwards. You can just watch it then. So it's like, I'm not paying anything. But who knows?
The panels were all chill and they're all good and good questions, and the interviews were interesting. So fair play to everyone involved. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for next year's Justice Con. I think Batista did say, actually, Justice Con, he said that the Army of the Dead ending is insane and one of the most powerful endings of any movie he's ever seen. So can't wait to see that.
Yeah, man. But that's what you get. You do a convention, and you have little, these bombs getting dropped. Just like, I can casually drop to all your viewers. That's gonna be fucking insane. But look at where we're at. You think like a couple of years ago, you wouldn't possibly think that fans that we know would be coming together to make a convention that's free and getting to talk to directors and action stars and all this shit. It's crazy. So they have our utmost respect. Congratulations, guys. You killed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was great. And hopefully we'll see more of it.
Yes. And I think that's about it. I thought we did that a whole lot quicker than I thought we were. I thought we were going to be here for like 3 hours. Because we got so much to talk about.
We could be here for 3 hours. We've already been here for like an hour and a half.
Well, that's it. I'm slowly descending into the darkness, as I did last time. Because I've had to move some tabs around. I think if I just put this one full screen, I'd just completely disappear. There you go. But thank you all, everybody, for watching. Thank you all for coping in the week where we weren't here. I don't know how you did it. And we will be hopefully back next week. Hopefully with some more stuff to talk about. Maybe with some guests.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.